And it says we're live. Hello, welcome everyone to the first happy hour, tarot happy hour. And with me is Carla from Carla Astrology. Hi.
Hi.
And I can see we already have someone in the chat. Carol is here, and we've got, oh, that's my friend Jen. Hi. I'm so glad you could make it. And yeah, today's topic, let's talk about sex, shall we? Okay. And we're not afraid to say any words here, because something that I absolutely hate is that YouTube, or actually Google, is putting all these ads in front of everyone's channel. And so if this video helps them to find my channel unappealing for ads, so be it. Yay. Hi, Tony. Okay, so something that I want to talk about is the tarot decks, some of the tarot decks that we have with that topic of sex. I have a few books that talk about how to read the cards in that context, and I will tell you which ones I like of the ones that I have, which ones I don't like, why. And yeah, so this is, I don't know, maybe I should rewind a little bit. So the reason how I even found this was because we all know the other tarottube, which is like all of those pick a card readings that get like tens of thousands of clicks. And there is also a category known as 18 plus readings. And those are the ones where they always like, what's your next sexual encounter going to be like? What are their fantasies? What are they into? And, you know, that kind of stuff. And the latest trend I've been seeing, and I'm like, this is complete nonsense to me, is, are they gay? Seriously, you need a tarot card reading to tell you if someone is gay or something? How about politely asking if you want to know? Seriously. Okay, so after seeing that, like, I watched a few of those videos just to see what they would talk about, and it's basically always the same. So they more or less use the same kind of decks for these readings, and the readings actually do make sense in what they say and how, hi Mimi, how people interpret those cards. But I thought, okay, there must be more to those. And I myself, I have 6 of these decks, all of them by Lo Scarabeo. There's more out there. Like, for example, one that I don't have is the Kama Sutra Tarot, which is also by Lo Scarabeo. Then one of the tarot decks that I have also has an oracle deck. I don't have that one. And I know there are some independent creators and shops that sell stuff. I've seen some on Make Playing Cards. So there's even a deck with all male nudity and all male figures in there. So there's something for every taste. And yeah. So my reason for even getting into this is because I personally was also working through some stuff, and I think it's fair to call it trauma. I'm not going to say exactly what it was. And like, I was at a point where I did have some fear of intimacy with certain things, and I wanted to get over it. And since tarot is such a big part of my life, I thought, why not turn to tarot? And so, remembering all those 18 plus readings, I thought, I wonder if I can use them in a therapeutic kind of way, because a big part of tarot is also the psychology behind it, the archetypes and you know, shadow work and all that stuff. So all of this for me was a big part of my personal shadow work, and sexuality, intimacy, all of that, that was my topic that I was working on. And I can say I have overcome that. It was a like 2-year process. So it didn't happen from one day to the next. And I can say personally from my experience that this really helps if this is something that you're interested in. Okay. I'm going to show you, first of all, the decks that I have, and then we can talk a little more. But, I mean, you can do a sexual reading with basically any deck. You can even use the RWS deck, and that's where certain books come into play that give you different meanings. But the decks that I have, for example, this one, the Tarot of Sexual Magic, this one also has an oracle deck out right now. I don't have that one. This is the mini version of the Manara Erotic Tarot. Hi, Sha Woman. This one also now has an oracle deck. Ooh. Then there is the Decameron Tarot. One that might be kind of known is the Casanova Tarot. Hey, Steve. And this one, the Erotic Fantasy Tarot. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, out of all these decks, this one is a complete miss.
Really?
Yes. That is the one that I don't like very much for these kind of readings at all, because like this is the mini version, and like the pictures on here, yes, they are of a very sexual nature, but the thing is, they are all from like the artist Manara. He does graphic novels and he has entire stories, and yes, it's all about sex and stuff. So these are the pictures from those graphic novels that have been put onto tarot cards. And so in that sense, it doesn't really work too well.
Okay.
And especially if you want to use it in a kind of therapeutic way, some of these images might be a bit too violent. I'm trying to find one that, like, for example, here, there's this woman. She's standing there trying to get water, and then there are these guys. And it doesn't look like a very friendly situation, so one might think that they might actually attack her. So if you want to use this, and you do have to do this now, Kat, thank you. Oh,
that one might cause the trauma.
Yeah. So this being a very sensitive subject, finding the right deck to work with, I think, is a very crucial thing in working through certain issues and not getting to a point where you get even more, like you said, traumatized. So for that reason, this deck, I would rule out completely. This might be the kind of deck, like if you're very comfortable with your sexuality and everything, and you want to explore some kinks and fetishes, like maybe going a step further and going into some stuff that, you know, people usually just don't talk about, like practice in secret, whether it's BDSM or any kind of other harder fetishes and kinks. Like this might be the kind of deck to explore that with, but for the softer things, no.
You keep using those words, Maria, like big parts and then the softer, and I'm like, wait a minute. No, I'm just kidding. Tony had a really good question.
Do you need to read the decks differently? I will get to that when I talk about the books, because yeah, there is a way to read these cards that is away from the traditional meanings. But I have to say, all of this, like all of these decks and the books, follow the RWS system. There is, I saw, like looking through Amazon to see what else they have, I found a book on sex and tarot that has the Marseille deck on it, but I couldn't look into it, so I don't know if they actually use the Marseille deck as an example, but I haven't found anything with Thoth. So this is all RWS based. Okay. Now the Oracle deck of the same artist, this one, I would also, like, from the pictures, put that more into like the advanced category. Some of these pictures might be very tame. This deck also works with like chakras and astrology. I haven't really looked into that too much. And yeah, some of these images are a little bit softer. Like this is not the hardcore kind of stuff that the tarot deck has. We even got, like, I call this the Mother of Dragons card because, I mean, come on. This, this looks so much like Daenerys.
Yeah.
And yeah, but even there, I mean, if we remember Daenerys from Game of Thrones, like this would be the card where I'm like, okay, how did she deal with sexuality? Like she also came from a place of being handed around, traumatized, raped, and all of that until finding her own voice, going off the deep end afterwards, but still. So there's a lesson in there. So this deck, I think it's okay-ish in a way. The guidebook has some good things to say, but okay. Now this one here, that is a deck that I would also use in a more advanced kind of way because this is also very graphic. It has very innocent pictures. Like this, for example.
Right.
It also has like some very graphic stuff. And yeah, these pictures are also like different sizes. It's like, and there's nudity, like female, male nudity, full frontal bush, like there's everything. But something like this might also be kind of triggering, because that sword is dangerously close to that part. So this is, hi April. So this is something that I would also put into the more advanced category for that reason. But there's also something like some of these decks in the more advanced category you can also use to get some ideas for your own pleasure and entertainment in the bedroom to spice things up, and you can show them to your partner and be like, hey, what are you in the mood for today? You know, pick a card. And we also have these very innocent images, something like this, just sitting out there. And yeah, so there's a bunch of like different stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just put that away really quick. Okay. Now,
I'm shy too, definitely. Very shy.
The Casanova Tarot, this one is kind of mixed. Like we have cards where there's just like normal stuff. We also have the sexy stuff. There's like typical Casanova. There's a lot of seduction in this one. So this, I would say, like a beginner to intermediate thing when it comes to that. I mean, there's a lot of like getting comfortable with your body kind of thing. And also exploring your own feelings in a way. Because something that I found out is very helpful in this kind of journey is also always asking myself, okay, if something gives me a certain reaction, why? Why do I feel that way? Why does it turn me on or off? Why might I be scared of something? Why do I feel there's a certain stigma to something? Where does that come from? Has that been taught to me? Do I really agree with that? Like all of those questions. The why question is always the most important one for me. So yeah, with this deck, this yeah, it goes into all kinds of directions, and you can read it as a normal tarot card deck with like traditional meanings, or you can use it for the sexual kind of stuff. Like this one swings both ways, I think.
There you go with them words again.
Yeah. Pun intended.
I know, right?
And then there's also one by Los Garibello called the Romantic Tarot, but that one is really more on the romantic side. There's not really too much nudity, I think, in that. I think there's no nudity in it. Okay, and now these two are actually my favorites. These are the ones that I've been working with. And this one is the one that I can really recommend for, hi Amy, for the personal shadow work when it comes to sexuality, for discovering your own sexuality, sensuality, all of that. So let me show you the Sexual Magic Tarot first. And this one is the red one. Like, people may have seen this one. These are the backs, and I also edged it in red. So this is, I call her my Red Queen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and these, like, something that I do with these decks, and the question has come up, like how I read them. With these decks, when I go into the whole, like, reading the sexual stuff, I don't really look at the original card meanings, or like the names of the cards, I mean. So I don't really care, especially with the minors, what they are, if it's like a 10 of Swords or 2 of Wands, whatever. I, with these decks, find it much easier to just interpret the pictures. Take the pictures at face value. For example, here, this would be like, there's 4 people in there. This would be like orgy, maybe swinger, like some kind of club, or, you know, just having fun, very, like they're drinking a little bit, so party atmosphere, dark room, whatever kind of stuff. So this is what I would read. And the original card is the moon. So yeah, I would not read too much about the moon into this. This one here is, what is it? The Queen of Wands. But what I see is a guy who loves to watch the lady as she undresses. So this is someone who loves to watch their partner undress, maybe even with music in the background, do a little striptease and that kind of stuff, you know, revealing the body slowly and a little bit more and more. So this is the, yeah, take your time, but do it with a little bit of passionate pizzazz. The Fool, for example, I don't know if you can see it, like here in the background, there is a couple making love. And instead of the dog, we have a snake here, but he's just walking ahead. He's not really looking at the couple. So this would be someone who is very new to the whole sexuality thing, but the snake would be the temptation. So like the snake in the Garden Eden. So it's already there, and this is someone like very close to awakening that sexual stuff within them. But for now, they're not aware of it just yet. Or this one is the Knave of Swords, the Page of Swords. And quite simply, this person just likes ass. It's an ass person. It's as simple as that. And what do we have? I'm correct in thinking that Europe is still very open about sexuality, unlike Bruges, but yeah. I mean, here in Germany, we even have the free body culture at the beaches. So we have nudist beaches and all that kind of stuff. People go into the sauna, like men and women together, sitting there completely naked, strangers that don't know each other. So yeah, over here, we are very open. And like Lo Scarabeo is an Italian publisher. So in Italy, people are also very confident about their sexuality. Same in France, things like that. So yeah, especially Western Europe.
Interesting.
Or this card, for example, here, this is the Knight of Cups. And here we have a woman sitting in the water. It's not a very deep pond or anything, and he's on the horse. So what I would read into this card is, this is a guy, for example, who likes to draw a bath for his lady and who loves to watch her in the water, like how the water moves over the skin, or if they go swimming or something, watching her skinny dipping and like being the little mermaid in the water, just splashing around, things like that. Like that can be very sensual, just watching someone, you know? So that's how I would read these cards. Or another one, like here we have the Human Buffet. Like actually like a little bit of food play, like 9.5 weeks in front of the fridge, that kind of scene. So yeah, this is how I would read those cards regardless of the whole, like the names of the cards.
Gotcha. Right. Like the RWS meaning.
When I come visit, I need to go to the sauna. Yeah, you can do that here. And some of the saunas actually are at a lake, so that you, like, when you come out of the sauna, you can jump right into the lake to cool off. We don't have a problem here. Like the nudist beaches, you can go skinny dipping and stuff.
April, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, if because we want to visit Germany, not this year, but next year. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
so what about an old chubby woman with, a few more,
Everyone can go into the sauna naked. Like over here, it's actually frowned upon if you walk into the sauna and you keep your towel on and you're sitting like this. No, like when you go into the sauna, it's like, ta-da, here I am.
Yeah.
Hi, Satma. How many of these decks do I have? I have 6 of these decks, 5 tarot, 1 oracle. And so I got the Manara tarot and oracle, the Decameron, the Casanova, the sexual magic, and right now I'm showing the erotic fantasy. And like I said, this one is my favorite. This was the one that I used to work through my issues. And this is with the exception of the Kings, an all-female deck, which was, of course, also very helpful for me. Oh, no, here's a guy. To go through this. And of course, like in the couples cards, there's a guy as well. But yeah, you have like the very traditional stuff, but you also have the nudity, you have like all these kinds of things mixed together. And therefore, this is the deck that is the least frightening, I would say, when it comes to these kind of issues. And yeah, I just, like for me, this was getting back to those words, the softest deck and the one where I could really fall into without fearing of like re-traumatizing myself. Am I frozen? It looks like I'm.
No.
My internet connection is really bad today, and I'm just looking at the YouTube screen right now, so I seem to be a little blurry. Sorry. Okay, which is why Asia is, which I don't dance naked around bonfires because I don't want to have to deal with the black eye.
Yeah, that's why I don't run.
Oh, that's funny. And yeah, so this deck actually says something really nice in the introduction of why a deck like this can be used, and I'm just going to read that really quick. So it says, talks about Eros. It says, Eros is the driving force that moves men and women towards what they consider beautiful. Exploring one's own Eros and personal harmony through desire allows us to improve the relationship we have with ourselves, our intimate relationships, and the spiritual and sexual harmony with our partner. Eros is an ancient concept. It was considered so important that it was given the same name as the deity that it identified. Eros even had its own muse that gave inspiration to artists through its power. Connecting with one's Eros means paying attention to the impulses and sensations that induce us to love. It also means learning to listen to our body, our senses, and the stimuli that we receive. And I think that is something that is very relevant with these kind of readings, that this is not just simply exploring your own sexuality, but also your body and how you feel in your body, and even for self-empowerment, because if you feel comfortable in your own skin in all kinds of ways, then that's a very different way of going through life. And I have noticed that about myself, like ever since I worked through that stuff. Before, I was really afraid of using the train to go home after work when it's dark outside. Now that I have worked through that kind of stuff, ironically, I'm not afraid anymore. Like I take the train at 10 at night to go home, and then I still have to walk a little bit to get to the house, and it doesn't bother me anymore. So there was a lot that happened inside of me through these kinds of sessions that I did with these cards. And I have to say, I can really really recommend this. Like, I can't praise this enough because for me, it really worked. And now sip, sip.
We have Orsi and Kristen have joined us.
Hi, thanks for being here.
Now,
Okay.
Is it arrows like Cupid?
Yeah.
And Orsi likes my background. I got that from Maria.
And Angela's here. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. And this Oracle deck also has a nice introduction here. And this actually takes it back into the whole Sigmund Freud context of like the it, the superego, and the ego, and that kind of stuff. So it's saying like sex is one of the crucial elements of a person's identity and one of the greatest driving forces in that person's life. For this reason, working with an erotic oracle can be a very powerful tool, same goes to tarot, for self-awareness and empowerment. So yeah, like this is a very interesting journey, and one where I definitely, like, I was journaling about that kind of stuff when I was doing that, like writing down, first of all, my history. And I did have other books of like sexual therapy kind of stuff that I got from Amazon. And there was even a workbook, and there were questions, and I was going through these questions before starting with the whole tarot stuff. So like this was a step-by-step journey for me. And it was good that I took my time, that I didn't try to rush it, because I needed to listen to my body, even though that one workbook that I bought said that this could be overcome in 3 months. But there is no way that I would put that kind of pressure on myself, because after experiencing something traumatic, for like living with it for many, many years, there's no way that, you know, you can flip the switch just like that. Okay. What do we have here?
The Abyssal Tarot, did you?
No.
Okay.
I don't have any decks that are for this topic specifically. I thought I was about getting the Tarot of Sexual Magic at some point. Looking forward to deck recommendations. Yeah, this one I can recommend if you want to have some more sexual stuff going on. This, like, the guidebook talks about it in a sense of sexual magic, actually, but that's not what I use it for. I'm not there yet. But like this one, I would recommend as the first kind of deck to get into this kind of topic if you want. Okay, I also have 3 books, because there was this question of how do we read these cards. Yeah. And there are more than these 3 books out there, and I just bought these ones. And out of these, let's go with this one. Is called 50 Shades of Tarot. I got all of this on Amazon, by the way, not sponsored. And this one here is a complete miss. This wasn't even worth the money. And I'm going to show you why. Because first of all, the font is so big that I can read it from the other side of the room, and there's a lot of empty space in here. I'm not a fan of that. Then when it comes to the minors, this is what we get for an entire suit. All the minors. Just this, like, not even getting into the specific cards. And so yeah, we've got like 8 pages for the minors, just talking about it. And then we go into the majors. So the majors are here in depth, but also like there's these black and white pictures. This actually looks better on camera than it does in real life. You barely see anything. It's so dark. Like, what's the point of even putting these pictures there? And it's like, I don't even want to read this. This is too much, like, writing too big stuff. Like, no, like, this is just, did so many trees have to die for that? I'm sorry. I can't really. And then something that's also a waste of space for me is, like, they have these, they call it let's play. And they have these 4 questions for each card, and they're all the same. You could have just taken this one page before starting with the majors. Hi, Phoenix. and say, okay, use these questions for every single card, and saved a lot of pages in here. So, but the questions are not too bad. I mean, there's something like, what does this card bring to your conscious mind about your own sexual activities? Are there things about it you want to explore, and if so, what? How can you enhance your own sexual experience through this card? And what have you personally learned from this card? So the questions are okay, but overall, next. These two, however, are really good. And there is a difference between them. This one, for example, this is the very in-your-face, blunt, I'm not going to sugarcoat it kind of stuff. And this gives long descriptions about the cards. It talks upright and reversals. This is the more, let's have a cup of tea, let's chat about this kind of book. And it divides each card into 2 sections, and that is about sex and love. So it talks about it in different kind of ways. And for the most part, like the descriptions in here are, of course, the interpretations of these authors. Like there's no like universal guidebook that says, okay, this is how you read tarot cards in the context of sex. It also depends on each deck, like how that's depicted. But if you want to read with like a regular RWS deck without having any of the sexual decks, these 2 books I can really recommend. They're like, I think like around $10 on Amazon. And yeah, so these work with any deck. You can use them looking at the tarot decks and like the sexual decks and see if that matches. And maybe I can give an example. Let's take the Ace of Swords, for example. Okay, so in the Let's Have a Chat book, here it says, the Ace of Swords speaks about sex without love. There's no feeling in this card. Technically correct, but without emotions and without much pleasure do not count on closeness and feelings. In fact, there's a lot of conversation between partners in this card. It's a connection on an intellectual level, but complete lack of physical, emotional closeness, lack of satisfaction. And the more blunt version, let me find the swords. Swords. Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords symbolizes truth, honesty, and integrity. So they're honest, which is a bonus, but they can also want things done their way because that's how they understand sex. They can also be terribly blunt when communicating emotions. Did you just fake that orgasm? Yes, of course, you were useless. They will reply and follow through with, well, you asked and I was honest, even though it cuts you to the core. Like with the swords, yeah, it's a double-edged sword. So if you want to know stuff, this book will tell you stuff, but be prepared. You may not like the answer. Yeah. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, don't call me, I call you. Yeah.
It's like it's the one night stand card. I love that.
Well, not necessarily. Yeah, but not necessarily one night stand. Just like that might even be in a relationship, but being like, yeah, this time you just didn't do it for me. Sorry. Better luck next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't have anything
so yeah,
like that, but I'm trying to be very diverse, so I'm definitely like at least gonna get one deck, Start with one anyway.
Yeah, let's see. I'm just looking through older comments here. Yeah, sex dice with a partner. Yeah, that's also something that like these cards or these decks could be used for some, especially this one, for some inspiration in the bedroom and be like, hey, honey, here are all the cards. Either draw one just blindly or choose one. Like, what are you in the mood for? And it can be a good conversation starter and like something that, yeah, I have noticed the difference between Germany and America, that over here we're a lot more open to talk about these things, because over here we have like this teen magazine called Bravo in Europe. And I don't know if they have the same kind of section in all the countries, but at least in Germany, we did have like a sex and love doctor who would answer questions of teenagers about all kinds of things relating to sex. And so apart from starting biology class in 5th grade and learning all that stuff from like 6th grade on, we always had this teen magazine that comes out once a week, or it used to. And so there were all these questions, and of course, and like after school, we would read those together. Of course, we would giggle about it and stuff, but we would learn. Like after a while, you would actually learn some of the stuff, and you would know that you can't use a tampon to not get pregnant and that kind of stuff. So yeah, like for us over here, it's not really a taboo. It's like something very normal. And hi, Jonathan, aloha. And so coming to America and seeing or witnessing like how closed of a topic that is, and that people don't really talk about it, or that even saying the word penis would make someone uncomfortable, for example, or saying vagina, like, oh my God, no, she said that. But yeah, like this is, I wish there wasn't this stigma about it, and that it wasn't something that people are ashamed of, because it's our body. It's like a very natural thing. And instead of being ashamed of it and having that shame put on us, which can also lead to a lot of like traumatizing stuff, because you think you're doing something forbidden and you consider it dirty, and you only do certain stuff behind closed doors, and you will not talk about it. And so you end up in relationships where you might feel unsatisfied because you just don't know how to express your own desires. You don't really know what your own desires are. And so if you don't know yourself, how can you communicate that to get the kind of pleasure that you're actually looking for?
Right.
If they draw it and it's reversed, does the performer have the option of saying no? The performer?
Right. When you were talking about using them to just draw a card and, oh, would you like to do that? You know, or, you know.
Oh. Well, you make the rules with that kind of stuff. For those of you that have 18 plus tarot decks, can you throw a few more titles into that chat, please?
That is an
excellent. So I wish I would remember the deck on Make Playing Cards. That's like, I've also seen it on YouTube. Oh my God, who had it? His name was Andrew. I don't remember his channel name, but he showed it. And it's like all male nudity stuff. There is, I think you can even, like, didn't Ethany also have a deck that was kind of like erotic in a way, but very like tasteful, like with clothes on and stuff? And there's also a tarot erotica or erotic tarot something that is independent, or well, I don't know where it's from, but yeah, if you Google erotic tarot or sexual tarot, something like that, or tarot with nudity, divine masculine, that could be. And am I frozen now?
Oh, maybe a little bit. You look like you're contemplating something. Yep. I actually have the Oracle of Visions by Cairo Marchetti, and some of it's kind of provocative, but I think this is just more to like when, you know, kind of a shadow work deck. But like, I think that's pretty good. Oh, you know, I got my green screen on. That's so it's probably not showing it the greatest. Anything green looks invisible. But
am I back?
Yes, you are. You are back.
Oh my God.
I was just showing a little bit of that oracle.
Yeah, I don't know like how long people could actually hear me, and I can just see I'm frozen again. Oh God. Like my internet is really shitty. Like originally I wanted to have a separate camera to actually show you the cards in a better way, but I decided not to do that. Yes, the Fyodor Pavlov tarot, that also has some really interesting pictures that go into this direction.
There's some boobies.
And yes, something like this oracle deck is also like, just get comfortable with your body and hi, and you know, explore your desires, and it doesn't have to go into fetishes and kinks right away. Something that I also and I'm not sponsored, but something that I found really good and that I can recommend for this kind of stuff, and that I also watched as part of my healing journey, was the Sex, Love, and Goop show on Netflix by Gwyneth Paltrow. Thankfully, she's not too much in it, but they do have a lot of sex experts, and one of them, actually, her name is Atlanta. She's also on Instagram, and she also she created a pussy oracle, where you have exactly what it sounds like. And yeah, that one, I think you can't really show it on YouTube. That will get flagged right away. And am I...
Oh, there she goes again. That's all right. She looks very pretty frozen that way right there. So that's a good frozen right there. I will say that in America, we have a lot of provocative music. So I can't really speak for Europe, but yeah. What's going on, Maria? Dang it. Freaking internet over there. But yeah, for myself, I was like that. I didn't have a lot of let's just say that even talking about sex was kind of taboo. So and my sister and I, we made up names for our things.
What?
There you are.
Oh my God.
That was kind of a cute little picture though, right there. Don't you think?
How do I get rid of that now?
Let me see. Oh, you got it. You did it. Look at you.
This is stressful. I wish my internet was working better. Where am I? What did I just say last? Lost my train of thought. Oh, does anyone have any questions? Let's just put it that way.
I have a question.
Shoot.
Have you ever read for another person with a reading like this?
I have not yet, but if someone wanted a reading like this, I would do it.
I could see that.
So
I don't know how I would be like this. Ooh, ooh. I already...
Yeah, like with this also, like I think the first step to all of this is becoming comfortable with the language, like knowing that this is, like, sure, you can giggle about it, but this is like, it's a natural thing, you know.
It is.
You know, penis.
Yeah. Well, pee-pee. Pee-pee.
Oh, it's like foo-foo. What?
Ooh, yeah. Hoo-ha. Snoochie fucker. Names like Foo-Foo and Snoochie Pucker. You know, she'll be back. Yeah. Let's see, what's it? Oh, I remembered a deck I have called the Phallomancy Oracle. Oh, okay. There she is. Well, that was actually pretty good.
Oh, I just took myself out and came back in. That worked way better.
There you go. Excellent.
The pilgrims have a lot to answer for.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
Well,
oh, you mean with like the being like hee hee ha ha kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
and just, not being comfortable. You know, they were very...
Yeah, that's a lot of church stuff, I guess. And I think the difference between like Europe and America, for example, the people went to America for religious freedom and took the church with them. And over here in 1500, I forgot the number, we had Martin Luther knock his 95 thesis paper onto the church door, and we had the religious revolution. So for us, religion doesn't play a big part anymore. So it's something that people just practice in background. It's not like we don't say one nation under God or things like that. Like it's very much like church is your private thing. Don't talk about it. And so that's why
Really?
we have a lot more like sexual freedom, I would say, in that sense. The Moonology deck can read pretty risky at times. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd have that one.
Moonology. I don't have that one. I have the Queen of the Moon Oracle. Yeah. But yeah, you can basically read with any deck, like even like this, for example. I think there is one card where it's very easy to tell what that would be. Let me just find it. Like, what's this?
That's a wand.
This is my masturbation card.
Oh, yes, yes.
Plain and simple. That's the wand. Put your hand on it. Make it bloom.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
And yeah. So even the suits are like, for me, the swords are like the intellectuals that, like for them, stuff happens in the mind. Like they kind of plan out the seduction. They think about what's the best way to do something. You go through a deck with your friend being naked. You go through the deck and put so every card matches the guy's penis and other features that once you've gone through the deck,
Yeah.
Why not?
And then it says you read the pile as they're reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, you can make up the rules on how you want to read this. Like there's no set rule that says, okay, you have to read sexual stuff like this. No. You can do this however you want. Like the Chariot, for example, you can take that the literal way and be like, get in the car and like take a little drive somewhere and maybe go and have fun outside, you know?
Yep.
Something very simple.
That with the Fool card, there was a point in the beginning of Bob and I's relationship where that was nothing but a thing to be in the park and hide behind the bush.
And with that, you have to be careful with like legal stuff, right?
Well, yeah, but we weren't thinking about, I hope this isn't going to get us in trouble. We were just, not thinking.
It's up a little. Or like with the tower here, like this is, I'd have to, like, this can also mean, like, if we take the tower in the literal sense as the penis, for example, this could also mean maybe an STD, maybe erectile dysfunction. This can be some kind of stuff that is not really pleasurable because shit hurts.
Yeah.
Or something like this, the Seven of Cups. Like there's choices. Like, okay, which kind of toy do we want to use today? For example. Or like what else can we do with this card? Like there's so many options. Or this is someone who has like a lot of people in their phone for booty calls. Like, who do I call now for a booty call? Like so many options, so many choices.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And the pentacles, they're like the very slow energy, and like the wands, that's the dick energy. For me, the swords is the like thinking about it, sometimes even manipulate.
Yeah. Well, I've heard it called a sword too. So yeah, I could see like the wand being passionate and the sword being the kind of without feelings thing. Definitely. Remember, you said come in and out, Maria. Go out and come back in. Uh-oh, she's still having a little trouble. Yeah, this has been fun, and I don't, talking about sex has always been a little bit of difficult for myself. So this has definitely been fun. Well, I really appreciate everybody showing up today. This has been fun. There she is. There she is.
Mm,
And
yeah.
yep, there you go, Jonathan.
Yeah, that one has to go. I have 3 out of 4 bars. I don't understand this. Whatever. So as I was saying, like the pentacles are the slow energy, the wands, that's like the dick energy. The swords are like thinking about stuff, seducing, because that's the element where stuff happens in the mind. And something that is also important to understand is not just the different love languages, but there's also different sex languages. Something that the Sex, Love, and Goop show actually talks about, and they name them. And to understand your own sex language, your partner's sex language, and to then try to combine that if you don't have the same, and learn how to communicate that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was making fun. I was telling you to go out and in because you said you were.
I saw that. Like, I can see that on my computer. Fucking
Yeah.
yeah. So with this, like for example, the 7 of Pentacles here is like there's a little something that's not being like taken care of. It's like the focus is on the wrong thing here, and that's like someone who thinks they know what they're doing because it may have worked with previous partners, but not every person is alike. So the next partner might be completely different, and a little something that you might not even think is important might make all the difference to them. So that's where communication comes in. And yeah, this one, like in a traditional sense, that would be the like fishing for the truth. So this is the kind of card, like have some good communication about it, some conversations about it. Oh my God.
So Carol had asked if she thought if we thought that this generation was a little bit healthier with the discussions, and then
oh damn. Am I back?
Yeah.
Because I keep seeing a black screen. Okay, now I can see you again. Because I see the black screen and the turning wheel and stuff. So I think I'm still gone. I don't know. Maybe my internet doesn't like this topic. Maybe my internet is very prudish.
Maybe the internet's going, Maria.
This internet sucks. So yeah, and like that's how you can read this with the help of like books like these, or you can of course go with like the meanings that are in these. And I think like when I was using this deck, the Erotic Fantasy Tarot, I did actually look at the guidebook for each card and what it said to have a starting point. And so I was always looking at the pictures. I was looking at the guidebook, and I was then trying to find, okay, how does this apply to me? I was not just taking all of that and be like, okay, let's just write this down. And then, no, like the important thing for me in this whole journey was applying it to myself and sitting with that, not doing a reading every single day. That was also something that was helpful, like not forcing it. Like for me, this was, like I said, like a 2-year process. And I was doing it whenever I felt like doing it. And that also helped. I also have to say I was doing this by myself. And to some extent, my partner knew about it, like what I was actually working on. And in the end stages, he was right there with me. But like all the tarot stuff, I did on my own. And I'm really glad that I did this. I'm really glad that these decks exist, and that there is something like this to turn to for these kind of things, and that someone has actually thought about turning it into this direction. And yeah, that just shows how versatile tarot really is.
Absolutely. I would like to see a good role-playing deck, You know,
So,
like
okay, I'm
draw
back.
a card
Yeah.
that is for
Self-love is good love. It helps you tell your partner what you like. Yeah.
darn internet. The internet is not playing well with others today.
Yeah, self-love is really important. Like, and that's also something that seems to be like a very taboo topic, like actually discovering your body in the obvious kind of way, you know, like self-pleasure, self-discovery, something that we kind of talk about as teenagers, and that people, like, everyone does it, no one talks about it, and it helps to really understand what you even want, and like to discover that in combination with these decks. For me, like I said, it was mind-blowing, eye-opening, and it was very healing. So did I miss some of the comments? Carol asked, do you think this new generations have a healthier concept of sex? Actually, no, because something that I have also seen in some discussions online is nowadays, like with something like this, every teenager, every person basically has the entire internet in their pocket, which also means pornography.
Right.
And so something that, like, when you and I went to school back in the days, like if you wanted to have any kind of porn, like you actually had to get the movies somewhere, like VHS tape style, or you had to I don't know, maybe your friend had like a Playboy or a Penthouse magazine to look at, something like that, or you would have someone old enough to buy it for you. And nowadays it's so easy at the push of a button to just consume that stuff. And I have found, like through looking at a bunch of conversations also, like with like how young people handle sex and stuff like that, and also knowing from experience some people who consume a lot of porn, like from what I have gathered so far, I think the people that consume a lot of porn are very like desensitized to actual sex and lovemaking. And I would even go so far as to say that people who consume a lot of porn are... I'm frozen.
You were
Am I
for
frozen?
a second.
Am I not?
No, you're
You're
good.
not moving?
I'm not moving. I'm moving.
Oh my God.
Check out that background. Isn't that pretty? See the waterfall?
Yeah. Oh, there I am. Okay. I would go so far as to say that people who consume a lot of porn have very wrong expectations when it comes to sex and like physical love. And that actually makes them bad in bed, because they are so, like, they have these ideas of what people might like and what to do. Like, but if you actually hear what sex workers from this industry have to say, like, they are basically breaking their bodies for this kind of stuff. Like
yeah. Back in the young days, I remember thinking, you want to do what? What? Okay, well, and then it's like, no. Yeah. One of the things my mother always used to say to me is be careful, like reading any type of smut or anything, because your expectations are definitely going to be distorted, or what you're going to think is not going to be that way.
Yes. And so, I mean, it does maybe help to spice some things up, but like, especially when people don't have much experience with sex themselves and they consume that before experiencing it, then yeah, they might have the completely wrong image of what sex actually is, how it works in the body and all that. Pornography is not necessarily true representation. Yes, it's
Right.
just entertainment. Exactly. And I've heard this from another tarot tuber who talked about having talked to some of the women from this industry, and like some of the positions that they have to get in are so damaging for their spines and things like that. Like, and if then other people, especially young men, think that this is enjoyable for a woman, no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So there's a very wrong side to porn when it comes to translating it into reality. Like there's nothing real about porn, nothing. And I also think that like with this whole pornography thing, yeah, you learn how to fuck and you learn how to be kinky and all that kind of stuff, but you don't know how to please someone, because what is actually is just guys masturbating inside of a woman, basically. They're just using a woman for masturbation. That's it. And they like, it's never about pleasing the woman. It's not about doing anything sensual. It's not about necessarily an orgasm or something. It's all about the men and these things. And so it's very one-sided.
Yeah.
And if you want to have a good sexual relationship, both people need to enjoy it. Otherwise, it's just like, yeah.
I got to tell you, like, I'm 53 and I've been with my significant other now for 20 plus years. But I can tell you that before that, yeah, I had sex. But when I was actually found somebody that I truly love, it's like, because I'm a very audio person, it was like in the things that were being said, the thing, how I was feeling, boy, did that intensify the whole act.
Yes.
Because just going at it just never, ever satisfied me. Not once.
Yeah.
Nope.
And I don't know if there are any women out there who can just go and, you know, get to that orgasm.
Yeah.
That's also not me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, men
like,
are visual usually.
Videos, movies, they give us the completely wrong idea about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like there's also a big difference in like the senses that we use and how we use them. Am I frozen again? Oh, there I am. So like whether someone reacts to touch or, like you said, audio or visual or smell or things like that, that's also important to know and to understand about yourself, that some, like a specific smell can get you in the mood, whereas another smell can be like, no. And so, yeah. And I don't know if the tarot can necessarily help you find out these kind of things, but it can definitely help you get comfortable with your body, your sexuality, how you view yourself, and especially when it comes to fear. I think that was the most important thing for me, to work through fear, because I don't know, where did it say that in one of the books here? I think, was it in this one?
Maybe as a guide, you know. I mean, it guides us in all other spiritual matters, you know. Help us ask those hard questions that maybe we don't want to ask.
Yeah. Oh yeah, now I know where I saw it, because this the red book here also has spreads in the back, and one of the spreads that I saw in here was something about fears. And so this is something like, this was the most interesting spread for me. Like, they have spreads in here like the next lover. Of course you can do that, like what's my next lover gonna be like, and like, what do they like in bed, or here's one, how to diversify your sex life.
Okay.
A spread about pleasure. Then there's the one about fear. Then what they secretly wish, a dating spread. What do you really like? So that's the one where you get into communication with yourself. Then there's the surprise me spread, where is like, what will sex with this person be like? How will that person surprise me? How will I surprise them? Things like that. Then there's a pregnancy spread in here.
Thank you, Carol.
Oh, thank you for being here. There is a will your partner come back spread. Yeah, so but for me the one that was the most interesting, and I kind of I didn't really do a spread. Like I usually just drew like 3 cards, and I would try to piece them together and to see, okay, what are the cards telling me? Maybe I can give an example with some of the cards here. Let me see. There's one specific card that kind of started it all. I can tell you it was the 4 of Cups. Or even this one, my significator, the Page of Cups. Where is it? Oh. Why is the card you're looking for always way at the bottom?
Making you work for it.
For real. Oh, this was one. Oh, here. Yeah, almost at the bottom. So, this card, for example. Like, as opposed to other cards in the deck, she's still fairly covered. And she's got those cups there, and she's sitting inside looking outside. So that was like one of my starting cards that I got very early on in my reading. And that was symbolizing me. Like I wanted to go out there. I wanted to experience certain things. And I just like being clothed compared to other cards here. Like for example, this would be my significator card, the Page of Cups, and she's like very open, still very timid, but yeah, like this was kind of like the beginning of my journey. So still being kind of like holding back, being a little bit afraid, being worried, like I want to, but how do I do this? And all of that. So this was a lot of doubt, being unsure, things like that. And so that's where I started. Or if you see something like this, like, yeah, she's got the sword in herself. So there's a lot of previous hurt. There's pain. There's also fear. There's trauma. There's stuff that happened and dealing with that. And she's looking away. So, yeah, like she knows it's happening. Like I knew stuff was happening for me, but I didn't address it because I didn't even know how. Something I can reveal, like for me, it was also like a medical issue. There was something happening, and none of the doctors were able to tell me what it was because they just didn't pay attention to what I was saying. They didn't care. They just didn't care. And it took me a long time to find out what was actually going on with me, thanks to the internet and like stumbling across a word that then kickstarted an entire journey of like searching through different stuff and finding out that there's actually a lot of women with the same problem that I went through. And first of all, finding out that I'm not alone was very reassuring in a way, and that made it easier for me to even start this whole journey. But then also, now that I knew what was going on, I could actually face it head on. Like if you don't even know what's going on, it's like really swimming in the dark and you don't even know where to start. So that's also why like professional help with this kind of stuff is really important. And if you need the help of a therapist or a doctor, by all means do that. But you may have to shop around to find the right one that is actually going to help you, that takes the time to listen to you. And now that I overcame all of this, and now when I mention this to a doctor, all of a sudden they know all about it. It's like the most natural thing, like, oh, so where was this info when I was asking for it? So this was, yeah. So I had to do this on my own. And so I was in that position. But from this, I moved to this. So carefully doing this And then eventually to like feeling happy in my own skin and having a lot of fear just out of my body now.
So how would you feel about maybe drawing a couple cards for some people in the chat?
Sure. If anyone wants a card, but be warned, this is a very personal topic.
Me, if you want one. So, like, maybe what would a question be? What would be a good question to ask tarot for?
Well, something
like a collective reading. You know what I mean? Or general.
I think this is like for collective stuff. I think this is very like everyone is so individual. Like I wouldn't even know how to do this as a collective read. Like with these 18 plus readings, they do one for everyone. But I mean, sure, you can generalize some things.
What would a general be? Yeah.
In general, like what do they usually ask? Like what is your next sexual encounter going to be like? Let's go with that. Let's try that one. And I'm going to use the erotic fantasy tarot.
Okay.
So let's see. What's the next sexual encounter for the community going to be like?
Yeah.
So let's draw two. Whoops. Jumper.
Did one just fly out? Somebody said
jump. Okay.
Who's watching us naked right now? No, I'm just kidding.
And let's take the bottom. Interesting. I got two kings. No, not right. I got the emperor and a king. It looks like two kings.
The emperor and the king. Wow.
The king of pentacles. So, like the next sexual encounter, with that, of course, I'm feeling a very masculine energy. Yeah. So the person, even though very masculine, like with the King of Pentacles here, this is more the
sensual.
I'm gonna treat you to some very nice stuff.
Yeah, like a nice
yeah, but I'm not gonna come on too strong. Like this is the sensual, experienced lover who is going to give the other person room to explore different things. Yeah. This person is not gonna say no to too many things.
Right.
Because they also have some experience with that. Same with the emperor here. This is more like the been there, done that. Let's see what you want. Let's see what you like. Tell me what you want, and we can make that happen. And I can show you how to do that in a very pleasing kind of way. So this is the like this person, they're not going to force themselves on you, and slow and sensual, and
like that too.
Maybe even like with the King of Pentacles, someone who has a little bit of money, like maybe taking you to a nice weekend getaway, something romantic maybe, and but also showing their worldliness, being like, let me teach you a few things as well. So let me know what you want, but also let me teach you something. So this would be how I would read those cards.
Let me take some notes. I know, it's kidding.
Yeah. And at the bottom of the deck, I got the World card. So this is going to be an overall great experience. There's like, they will rock your world.
Oh yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So this will be something nice. So actually, I really enjoy reading with these cards and the kind of how you can combine these. So pick on what? Yeah, but actually it's a mama pig with piglets. So if you don't want to get pregnant, this is your warning.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Anyway. Uh-oh. Remember, Maria, out and then in. Anyway, I apologize for my dorkiness. No, I don't think I'm going to apologize for it.
Oh, I'm back.
There she is.
But also with the world card, like she's holding the fire in her hand. So this is going to be something very hot and steamy and like playing with fire in a way. But yeah, definitely with, where was it? The pig card. This is someone very fertile.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if this is a guy, like if this is representing the guy, this is someone very fertile. Or if it's a woman, like, yeah, beware of pregnancy. Like the Empress is not the only one who can, warn you of pregnancy. The Emperor is just as fertile.
Yep.
I mean,
Well,
someone
my
has
old
to
man
make
is a
those
farmer,
babies.
and pigs have a certain way of doing things too. It's like a corkscrew.
Mm.
So maybe that's
like that's like I was joking about like in my next life I'm going to be a cat, like lying around lazy all day, having my food catered to me and just sleeping and all that stuff. But knowing how cats have sex, I want to be a cat that's neutered.
Yes, exactly.
Like if you know the procedure of like what happens during cat sex, no thank you.
Yeah, no. Yeah, right.
So yeah. And something also like when we talk about interpreting pictures, like she's holding a flower in her hand. And I don't know, Chinese astrology picks are the same as Scorpios, very sexist. Ooh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Brown chick, brown cow. So yeah, with this flower here, I don't know who remembers that movie with, I even forgot his name. It was one of those teen movies like 40 Days and 40 Nights or something, where the guy, Josh something, couldn't have sex for 40 days. And he made a bet with like some friends. And then he met this girl and he couldn't have sex with her. And there was this one time when she took him home and I think he told her that he can't have sex or something. I don't know. But he was then using a flower and just like brushing that over her body and just watching the reactions. So that's what this kind of reminds me of. So you can use all kinds of things to like invoke your senses and so
anyway.
Oh my god.
I know, right? Why are you walking so funny today?
Yep.
We had a nice dinner last night.
Corkscrew penises, just like Dexter. Oh my god. Yeah, I heard that like the cat penis, like they have a hook in there and they actually like, and that's why the cat is screaming. It's not for pleasure. She's actually in pain.
Yeah.
I guess pleasure and pain can go hand in hand.
Yeah, but then you need a safe word.
Yeah.
Stop! That's my safe word.
Yeah. Or I heard foxes have sex right under my window in that one apartment where I lived, and it sounded like a cat being slaughtered.
Oh my god!
It's like, and I was then looking out the window, and they were both looking at me, and I'm like, really? Do you have to do this right here? And then she ran away, and he looked at me like, dude. Yeah, you just cock-blocked me.
Exactly.
He was not happy about it.
That's hilarious.
Excuse me. Sip.
Yep. So the world had the big O on it, which is yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot in this card.
Of the wheelchairs. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Or the complete opposite. For example, like here, what is this? The Four of Pentacles, like holding back, but she looks kind of afraid. Like this is like, no, don't touch me. No, I don't want this. I don't know what you're doing. I don't like it. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but mostly not. Yeah. What else do we have? I always like it when the Sun card features two people, like in the Golden Dawn. And here, this is a very, I mean, you can see where his hand is reaching,
Oh yeah.
and she's standing there and watching, and
Yeah,
you
that's like
know,
yeah. I got some players
you know.
through that. Yeah,
Let
that's
me show you how much I like you.
yeah. Yeah. Woohoo!
So yeah. Or even something like the Hermit card here. Like it looks like she's on top of a mountain standing in like a bird's nest or something. Uh just overlooking everything. And like, yeah, in solitude, we're trying to find out who we are, what we like, all that kind of stuff. And
Which deck is
but
that?
also like there's this wish, like the bird's nest for me is the kind of nesting energy. Like we want to have that cozy home and we want to share it with someone and we want to fill this nest,
Yeah.
So solitude, yeah, saying I'm single and I'm happy, that's all good and well, but deep down is not really true. This is the unhappy singles card for me, for example.
What deck is that again, Maria?
So, this is the erotic fantasy tarot.
Fantasy, yeah.
So yeah, Lo Scarabeo has a lot of these sexual decks. And yeah, like the erotic fantasy and the tarot of sexual magic, my Red Queen, they are my favorites.
Yeah, my honey hasn't let me read for him yet. I think if I get a deck like this, he'll rethink that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good reason. That's a good place to start. I can practice.
Definitely. Like tarot doesn't have to be all woo. And I think this is one of the topics where we can actually like switch it over to real life and find some actual real life application for this, and not just be like, oh, I'm going to predict the future and I'm going to die in 5 years or whatever. I'm going to inherit lots of stuff. The Manara's on my wish list. The tarot or the oracle? Because where is it? Yeah, I got the mini version of that one. And I'm glad I only got the mini version at a 50% off sale because I'm not using that one.
Care for that one.
And yeah, the oracle. I have yet to look into this one with like the chakras and the astrology stuff of what that can offer.
Do you have a walkthrough on your channel?
No. I don't think I've ever shown any of the sexual decks. Like this is the first time that I'm opening up this line of communication about this topic, because when I was going through that stuff, I was also like doing that for myself. I mean, I told you a little bit about it during that process, but like for the most part, I just kept it to myself because this was something I had to figure out how to even do this, because there's also no manual on this, and I wanted to find out what this can do for me. Does it work? Does it not work? So I didn't want to talk about it too early on, but I always knew that once this was completed, then I would share this topic, and yeah, this is what I'm doing now. Another deck that might also be good for some sexual stuff in a way is the Atlantis Tarot, even though it's out of print, but here and there you can still get some. Same with the Ludi Lescott. There's also like with that vampire energy in there, and ghosts and stuff like that. There's also you can use that one. And yeah, I mean, a lot of decks have images that go that way. So yeah, there's not just these specifically sexual decks. There's a lot of them that go into this kind of direction, and for that, there's books out there, and yeah,
it's just another added layer, that we can add to it, whether we have a deck specifically for it or not.
Yeah, and I think the first one out of all of these that I got was it was this one. That was the one I saw the most in those 18+ readings on YouTube. And yeah, I even saw some people, or there's one reader in particular when she was doing this reading using the Tarot of Vampires, the one by Ian Daniels, because that also has some very sensual stuff, not sexual, but sensual images. So going more into the art of lovemaking instead of like too much explicit stuff. So yeah, there's a bunch of decks out there, and there's something for each taste. Or even like I mentioned in the beginning, Lo Scarabeo even has a Kama Sutra tarot that shows the different positions. There's also one that here in Germany it's out of stock at the moment. I don't know if it will come back into stock. A tarot deck also with like sex positions. Like each card has like a different sex position and stuff, and the Queen of Swords was called the Queen of Flesh Swords or something. I don't remember. Like something. Yeah, she was working on the guy. Like he was laying down and she was working on him with her hands.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yeah, and like I don't know, was it the chariot that they showed, like doggy style kind of in a way? So yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's stuff like even sometimes some online sex shops might even have like card games that fall into that kind of category. Hi. So yeah, that was basically what I have to say about this topic so far.
All right. I think this was fun.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yep. Very eye-opening, and stuff I never really thought about it, honestly, until you brought it to my attention that, I was just like, no, but hello.
Yeah. So yeah, these 18 plus readings are what started my awareness of that topic, but I don't know if that is really something for like community readings, like for the collective and stuff like that. I think that is something very personal.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff might apply to the person looking at these videos, but I don't know. I think it's something very personal, and if you do it in a personal space, you can get a lot out of it.
Well, me being a palmist could probably tell. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not even going to finish that statement.
Yeah, sex for the signs. Yeah. See, for that, I would then go so far as to say, okay, Western astrology, Vedic, real sky, what sign are we talking about? So even there is like a whole conversation to be had.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, does anyone who is still in the chat have any questions or finishing comments, anything before we sign off? But otherwise, thank you for everyone who was watching and who was here. I really enjoyed this conversation.
I did too. Definitely.
And
if not, they can always leave a comment in the
leave a comment.
Yeah. And whoever watches the replay can always leave some questions. And
yes. All right. Well, I missed the beginning and have to watch it back, but I really enjoyed this chat. Thanks, Maria and Carly. Oh, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Maharat, aren't you in Germany as well? Am I correct in that assessment? Are you the one that I know from Instagram with the owl oracle? Is that you? And yeah, thank you for addressing this topic. You're welcome. I think this is something like sex should be talked about openly. Like, get rid of the stigma and the taboos and all that stuff. Like, how else are we going to learn about stuff?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to wait a moment if Maharat answers, but I think you're the one from... No way. No way. Leipzig.
What?
I'm not going to say it, but That is too good. And I was always saying, there is no one here in my vicinity for tarot and stuff. Huh. Interesting. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
cool. Yeah. If you want to talk, you know where to find me on Instagram. Awesome. Well, thank you once again to everyone who's been here or who is watching the replay. Ja, ich lebe in derselben Stadt wie du. And yeah, if anyone wants to talk about this kind of topic again, if anyone has any questions, leave them in the comments. Die Frage ist nur, welcher Stadtteil? Yeah, so thank you, Carla, for doing this happy hour with me and for like talking about this topic. And yeah, to everyone, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend and see you soon. The next happy hour is already on my mind, and it will be another controversial topic again. So see you then. Bye.
Bye.